How's it going, everybody? It's Craig Bush Rocks. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some games that need a proper sequel. We've been waiting for years for these games to get an extra proper sequel. We're not talking about VR games, which we'll get to that one first, but just games and just to get a proper sequel for people to play in general, so they can get on their PC or their console and get a sequel to the game. And the first one I'm going to show is this one right here. I pulled out the PS3 version of this one, the orange box, because I got the PC copy of it downstairs of Half-Life games from way back in the day. You know, we're still waiting for Half-Life 3 for how many years? I mean, meantime, we're getting Steam machines and Steam Steam controllers and everything else, but can't get a sequel to Half-Life 3. Yeah, they had a VR game. I don't call that a proper sequel, even though it probably is, but it's a niche audience. We're talking about for everybody to get on and play. If they came out with a Half-Life 3 game, you know how that would be like Grand Theft Auto type territory right there. That game would sell like hotcakes. Now, granted, Half-Life started out just being PC. I think they had Half-Life on PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly. And probably on Xbox, but primarily Half-Life was primarily a PC game. You know, for all in all, you know, they had Team Fortress 2, got Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and Half-Life Episode 1. I think Portal had like a sequel on something, but I think that's another game that hasn't had a sequel in years too. I could have pulled out Portal to talk about that one too. Just in general, yeah, Half-Life 2. You know, it's funny. I guess EA has something to do with this one right here. You know, yep. EA and Valve working together to put out a console game, but that one needs a proper sequel. I mean, that's no secret. People know that they need to do something with this one right here. Everybody's talked about, when's Half-Life 3 coming out? Oh, we got a VR game for you. So what? I haven't even played that VR game yet, and I play VR a lot. So come out with a proper sequel that people can play soon, hopefully. Oh, the next one. I'm surprised they haven't come out with anything. This is a Namco game. I believe this is the last console release that they came out with. They might have an iOS game or something in the long run, but Ridge Racer games. I mean, this is Ridge Racer Unbounded. I think this was like the last one in the franchise for being a Ridge Racer game. I remember when every console release that came out, Ridge Racer came out with it. You had PlayStation 1, Ridge Racer, PlayStation 2, Ridge Racer, PlayStation 3, Ridge Racer 7, I think it was, over there. But this is the last Ridge Racer game I think that they came out with, you know, since then. I mean, if they had like phone games, I don't count that as phone games. That's not a proper sequel. I don't know if they have phone games. It seems like they release phone games for every game out there, but for a proper sequel, when's the last time you seen a Ridge Racer game? I mean, yeah, probably. Did they come out with one on PlayStation 4? I don't remember that one, you know, being or whatever coming out on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. We're not talking about greatest hits or HD remasters and nothing like that. Just a proper sequel. And you can let me know in the comments below if they did ever come out with one that's a proper sequel on the console. Then I'll go buy it. Another one, I think, did have a phone game around the same year. This came out around the same time, but we haven't had a Driver game, San Francisco, a proper sequel to Driver, in a long time. We had Driver, something like that, but really, when's the last time we had a Driver game? In general, I mean, you don't ever hear about Driver. Driver San Francisco was actually a pretty fun game, but other than that, I'm waiting for a proper sequel to this game right here. You know, who knows? But man, back when they had activate your passport back in the day. But another one that needs a proper sequel. This one was on PlayStation 1, Driver, and yeah, Driver 2. Yeah, that was infamous for having a crappy tutorial in the beginning, trying to get past that before you can actually get to the game. Yeah, it was like they gave up on this series. But yeah, Driver, I think, was the last one that they made. Besides, I think this one or Driver, I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, we haven't had one in a long time. I mean, I don't think we had one on PlayStation 4. Definitely not on PlayStation 5. That's like I only pulled out four games for this series. Valve, that's just necessity right there. They need to start making games again. You know, Half-Life 3, another Portal game, do something. But last one, that because Hideo Kojima left good old Konami at the time. They were being a real dumpster fire. Yeah, Metal Gear Survive. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. A proper sequel to Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain. I ain't going with Metal Gear Survive. That was a dumpster fire. I mean, considering that was kind of the last game in the franchise, pretty much when it comes down to it. But a proper sequel to Metal Gear Solid 5, we need one of these. You know, after Hideo Kojima left and he's got his own studio now. You know, Death Stranding and all that. We haven't had a proper sequel to this. Right now, Konami's riding the nostalgia wagon and coming out with master collections and stuff like that, which is fine and dandy. You're getting old franchises up to the PlayStation 5 standards and Xbox Series X standards and stuff like that, and probably Switch too. You know, so they are coming out with those, but up for a proper sequel, yeah, there's lots of games. I could think of a proper sequels. I'm just talking about old franchises. I mean, some old ones. You know, we got those normal franchises like, um, yeah, Resistance games and stuff like that. You know, for that was on PlayStation 3. But when you're talking old franchises from like way back in the day, I just pulled out 4 of them. Just off this, just to talk about. There's tons and tons more games that never got a proper sequel that came out from, back in the Sega Genesis days, Nintendo on days and stuff like that. PlayStation 1 days. They made a couple of games in the franchise and they were popular, but then they stopped. There's lots of games out there that way. I pulled out four of them just out of my collection just within like 10 minutes. I'm like, man, I don't talk about these games. Think about that for a minute. Like, what's some Nintendo games even, for that fact and for that matter and stuff like that. You can look on Nintendo, some of the popular franchises that they haven't made a sequel to, and there might be some on there, but there's lots of them out there. Think about it for a minute. But this is kind of like a short little video. I just want to rant about that. It's like we need some proper sequels to some of these games. I wish they would do something about it. Especially you, Valve. We've been talking about this for a long time. You need to get Half-Life 3. Yeah. A proper sequel to this one. And not a VR game. I like VR, but not for that. Heard that game was pretty good though. But just a good sequel to Half-Life 2. God, this came out years ago. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like, give me a thumbs up. Comment down below what are some games that you can think of that needs a sequel to it. Yeah, let me know. So there's a lot of them out there. I'm talking old franchises, not stuff that was on PS3 and stuff like that. Just some old franchises. So let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll check you all in the next video. Bye. Fun times, everybody. Fun times.